Okay. All right. So, all right, then I can share with anybody who has missed today. So, all right, so there's our agenda for today. Go ahead and jump in if you feel like, you have something to add or something to say. Kind of have this, an interactive discussion here. So, you can also use the raise the hand feature if you want. Sometimes I can't see everybody who's, raising their hand if I just, I can't see all of the cameras, but if you use the raise the hand feature, that'll notify me. So our first item here is our new vision, mission, and values. So we just got through our strategic plan, and this will be for the next 3 years. So we worked really hard on these and feel like, they tell our story pretty well. So vision statement, adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities define and direct the decisions that are best for them in their lives. So, just really focusing on, the people we support and, they're making their decisions, their own decisions to, improve their lives. So mission statement, the Village of Marici provides an innovative approach to services for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities focused on their independent living. So, really focusing on that independent living and, trying to kind of pave a new path and, be pioneers in this industry and really finding, new solutions and, ways to help the people that we support grow and be able to support themselves and live as independently as possible. So that's definitely, our goal for the people that we support. So values, belonging, integrity, respect and dignity, and service. So you can kind of read through, what each of those mean, but we, feel like those were our top values. This is posted actually outside the office now. So if you're here, then hopefully you can see those out there. Our next is the actually our goals and our strategies. So I won't read all of these to you, but I do want to go over the goals here. So number 1, develop a long-term model for housing, services, programming, and transportation to meet individual needs. So we do feel like those 4 areas are the areas that are most important for us to focus on. And obviously our housing, we'll talk a little bit later about the different, housing that we have going on, but obviously that's very important and very much needed for people we support. So, we have a very long interest list, and the state, IHA has a very hefty interest and waiting list as well. So, just trying to find those affordable, sustainable models for adults with disabilities to really be successful in living independently. Services, of course, providing quality services, programming, providing that programming and learning opportunities so that adults with disabilities really have those connections, have opportunities for those connections. After high school, a lot of times there's just not a lot for available for the adults with disabilities, outside of high school. So, we're trying to provide some of those learning opportunities and connect more adults with disabilities. So, and then transportation, of course, is one of our biggest barriers when supporting adults with disabilities, as most of them do not drive, and Uber and Lyft and all of those other avenues are very expensive. And then, as we all know, the Indigo and all that at the time, are just very time consuming and all of that. So just really trying to find some different, solutions to those issues is, our goal over the next 3 years. So you can kind of read through some of those strategies there. Number 2, achieve financial stability and establish funds to support growth. So as all of you know, we're a nonprofit, and we, through the Medicaid waiver, we're able to, provide, or it provides about 75% of our funds to I'm sorry, I'm like running out of words here, to support our staff, or our services. But we have about 25% of that that's not covered. So we are raising, needing to raise funds to meet that, that goal of, covering all of that 100%. So you can read through some of those strategies. And then number 3, build a solid organizational infrastructure to sustain VOM's quality of service and support future growth opportunities. So, really looking at our organizational structure as we grow. We, will be opening another building here in 2023-ish. So we're hoping in 23. And we'll be adding about 38 apartments there. And then in Carmel, about 40 apartments. So that's an additional, 75 to 80 housing opportunities, which could also translate into service opportunities. So, we have a lot of growth that will be happening here in the next couple years. And we just want to make sure that we have the strategies in place to, grow and keep that quality. So any questions or anything there? All right, very good. So the home and community-based services settings rule is, well, I'll play a video here that kind of explains what that is, but we had a quality on-site provider review, and that was done through BQuist, through BEADS, so the Bureau of Developmental Disability Services, and then the Bureau of Quality Improvement Services, pretty sure is what it means. So we had a great review from them. They really didn't have any recommendations for us. They felt like we were doing a pretty good job with everything, that we're doing with our services and how we support the people, that we support, and give them choice and, train our coaches and all of that. So we had a lot of good feedback, but I'm going to play this video here and hopefully it'll play. I just need to make sure. Actually, I think that's on. So. New share here. All right. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Check your volume.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
To tell you about a rule called the Home and Community-Based Services HCBS Settings Rule that supports inclusion and integration of people with disabilities in the community. People with disabilities deserve the same rights to make informed choices and have access to the broader community and integrated employment just as anyone else. We know that when people are part of their community, they are more likely to make decisions for themselves, have more friends, and have better lives. There is a new rule called the Home and Community-Based Settings HCBS Settings Rule that helps support these important outcomes. The HCBS Final Settings Rule, or the Settings Rule, is a federal policy change announced by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, CMS, to make sure that people with disabilities have the kind of services they want in their communities. The settings rule requires that the places where people receive Medicaid HCBS services offer full access to the benefits of community life. In case you are wondering, if you are receiving supports to live in the community, you booked a
All right, so that was just a little snippet of that video that gives you some more information about that rule. That video is about 8 minutes long, so I didn't want to share the whole thing, but you are welcome to watch this. I will send out these slides after the training so we can all, you can all have access to those and all of the videos that will be in this, this training here. So I I don't know if you guys can see the little meme over here, but it says, you know, we learn from failure, and then, you know, it has kind of that protection around, you know, our services tend to have that protection around the people we support, and you know, you can't make any mistakes and you can't take any risks, you know. So just keeping that in mind, that, you know, everyone deserves those risks and deserves to, you know, do what they would like. So the next video here shows the, just kind of talks about the setting, kind of the settings rule as well. BQuest actually shared this on one of their webinars that providers had to take, and it's just a 2-minute video, so it's pretty cute. So I hope you enjoy.
Hands off, it's my home. Hands off, it's my home. It's my home. Hands off, it's my home. It's my home. I don't have a schedule tacked to my wall. I don't expect to find one anywhere at all. If the telephone is ringing, I pick up to see who calls. I don't have great big posters about slips, trips, and falls. I decide what happens when I go to bed or eat. I decide who enters in, which people I'll greet. I decide on furniture, which bed, which bath, which seat. I decide the temperature and when to turn the heat up. All the things around my house belong to me. I don't have strangers coming in, changing channels on my TV. All the mail I get is opened by the addressee. I have dominion in my castle, have my privacy. I don't use my home for meetings, trainings, or interviews. The colors in my carpets are my favorite chosen hues. All records kept about me are accurate and true. And if I really wanted to, I'd own 100 pairs of shoes. I will make my choices, I'll make my own decisions. And any plan I make contains my own wishes and visions. Any person in my home is here for my permission. No office do I have here, no rules and no restrictions. I decide who to employ to a vacant situation. I decide on where I want to store my medication. I have the right to keep my mother out my accommodation, and I don't need to have a weekly fire evacuation. No risk assessment stop me from trying something new. I make my own mind up about everything I do, and when I need support, I'll let you know if it is you. Hands off, it's my home, or Sam Sly and I will sue.
So pretty cute little video about, you know, just making sure that we're, you know, providing that choice for people, and that we're remembering as coaches that it is their home. So we're not going in their home and, you know, opening up the cupboard and open up the refrigerator without their permission. You know, we're really consulting the person, you know, before we touch their things. And, you know, sorry, I'm having trouble keeping my train of thought and switching my screens at the same time. So let's see if I can do 2 things at once. So, you know, just being mindful when you're in people's homes about, you know, it is, you know, their home, and you're an invited guest. So you just want to make sure that you're being respectful of their things. So, so just, you know, just a couple memes here about, you know, we're not, you know, using client or individual or service or user or consumer or anything like that. It's person first. So always having that person first language. So that's kind of where we came up with the person we support language. We, you know, really want to make sure that that person, you know, first language is being used across the board. So, all right. Well, I want to thank everybody for doing the survey, or everybody who did complete the survey. You're welcome to still complete it. It's just takes about 6 minutes or so. So, you know, I definitely appreciate all of your input and feedback. I got a lot of great feedback. We'll go over some things today, you know, kind of responding to some of that feedback. So We have about 30 responses so far. So 75% are excited to go to work, 95% know their goals, 96% agree that, we value and respect our employees as part of the VOM culture. 83% agree that the administrative communication is clear. So we're going to talk a little bit about that later and some solutions hopefully for that. 96% agree good communication with their team leaders and find meetings helpful. So 93% find client-specific trainings effective. So those client-specific trainings are supposed to be whenever you start working with a person that you support, and then annually after that. So hopefully, you're receiving those. I know the team leaders work hard to try to get all of those in. So 77% feel involved in their planning and get information from quarterly meetings. So we'll also talk about that in a little bit. Trying to improve, that quarterly meeting process, and team leaders are, I'm sorry, I'm making a note here. Are trying to, make sure that coaches do feel more involved and that they're communicating before and after with those quarterly meetings. So, and those are, every 3 months or so. So, all right, 73% find coach meetings most helpful, and then followed by 58% find the client-specific trainings most helpful. So 75% agree that programming is a valuable coaching time. We'll go over programming a little bit later as well. But, the point with programming really is to bring people together. So as well as the learning opportunity, of course, and having that be a quality time, for the coach and the person you support to really be learning about something, whatever that is, whatever that group is that you're attending. But a lot of that is for social opportunity. So, getting people together when you're supporting people that live outside Marici Village apartments, bringing them in and trying to build those friendships and, create those social, those consistent social interactions. So, that's a large part of why we have the programming in place. So we're really going to try to help to extend and expand those programs into even including others that don't receive services from us. So we had some people coming over from outside the box and, different things that don't receive services from us. And that's great. That's what we want to see. So, the goal is to provide a community for the people that we support, right? And that's, kind of the best way that we, feel like we can do that. So, 91% agree it's a safe environment. 90% agree on the wage increase was, that was a good thing. So 45% chose email as preferred communication. So to be honest, I was a little surprised by that because I feel like I get a lot of complaints about my email policy, but I do believe the email's the best way to communicate as far as it's trackable. It's, you can always look up different conversations that you've had. So you're able to keep track of all of that information. And, it's automatically stored in your email. So you can just, keep that for, forever really. So, and then 38%, chose text. So, as right now, as far as texting is concerned, it's not secure, but, we could possibly, look at a secure texting program. So we're considering some of those things to help communication and make sure that, communication is we're evolving with, your guys' needs. So 52% would like more in-care training and 48% would like more technology training. And then, it kind of went down from there. So we're going to take some of that into consideration and look at spending a little bit more time with training on in-care and technology. So we do know that, technology will just keep getting, more difficult as we, as time goes on. So just getting some of those trainings in now would be helpful for all of you. 99% are satisfied with professional growth opportunities. So as you all know, we are growing. We'll be adding quite a few more services within the next 2 years. So we're happy that you're with us and that you want to grow with us. So 79% are satisfied with schedule and the management of the schedule. So that was good. And then the mission statements definitely showed you guys, understand that, mission. My apologies. I'm getting a FaceTime video from one of our iPads.
Hey, it's me, Joe and Christy. And my question is, how do you get on with Dr. Miller?
All right. I'm not sure, Steve. So I'm on a meeting though, so I'll have to talk to you later. Okay. Can you call Chelsea?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
You think someone might come up and help me on this one?
Possibly. Yes. Call Chelsea.
Hopefully, Chelsea. All right.
Sorry, guys.
Very cute.
I thought that was somebody trying to get into the meeting. So goodness gracious. All right. So any questions or thoughts about the survey results? Thank you everyone again for doing that. So
I'm wondering, oops, sorry.
go right ahead.
I'm wondering if on that 75% agree that programming is valuable coaching time. And you just reiterated that it's socialization is a huge part of that. I wonder if that percentage would be higher if we weren't in the middle of COVID stuff.
I would agree with that. I think there's a few things, definitely we're not in person with COVID and all of that. Second would be a lot of the people that we support that live farther away from Marici Village Apartments do not attend. So, we have a few Zoom or, opportunities, but they're not typically well attended. So, part of it is going to be getting that information out a little bit better. But it really, a lot of times it takes coaches, to share that information with the people we support. So just, getting that, those opportunities out to you guys so that you guys know to share that with them.
Okay.
That's key, I guess.
That makes sense.
And team leaders can help with that too, in recognizing different opportunities that would be beneficial for each person and suggesting that to coaches and things like that. So that should be happening at, quarterly meetings and things like that. So when you get that feedback, then, you can hopefully, share with the people you support. So. Another cute little meme here. So, not my guys, my individuals, my clients, my friends. And then, he just says, I'm not your anything, I'm Nigel. So just remember that, we're supporting people, we're supporting adults, that just want to be treated like adults and, not like any of these things and not like a child. So just remembering that, as you support the people that you support. So, all right. Into the not as fun things here. So, in care. So in care scheduling and EVV times. So we're still seeing a little bit of struggle with those clock in and out times, matching those start and end times. So really paying attention to those before you submit your note is so important. You really need to, make sure that you're, you're paying attention to those times. And if any of those times need changed, you'll need to change, if you need to change your start and end times. If you were 15 minutes late and you clocked in at 9:10 instead of 9 o'clock, then that means that you really need to change your start time to 9:15. You don't request a modification for your EVV time because you weren't there, at 9 o'clock. So you change your start time to 9:15. So to change times, you go to scheduling, residential scheduling, choose your client, and then click on the appointment, and you can change that time. If you need to change your in and out times, so you're clocking in and out times, then you go to that request modification tab in your note. So Maureen?
Yeah, I had a quick question because I've asked other coaches about this. When I go to clock in, I always get a message that says a previous clock in has already been entered. It happens every time I clock in. Do you know what that's about? It lets me clock in, but it says a previous clock in has already been made. And it doesn't matter which person I'm working with, that comes up every time.
No, I'm not sure what.
I know
would be
what that
going
is.
on.
I
Can you take a
answer that.
screenshot of that next time and then send it to
Can
me?
you hear me?
The one thing with in-care is, it's really set up to be foolproof. I mean, typically, if I have issues with it, I'm always thinking, okay, what am I doing, so that this isn't lining up or whatever. I have no idea what that would mean. And, the other thing is, if there really are issues, or you're not figuring something out, you can always reach out to support too. So
Right.
That's always,
It's,
but yeah, I don't know what that would be. So yeah, I'd definitely take a screenshot and send that to me and try to figure
I
that
get
out.
it too.
Yeah, I get it too, but.
I get the same thing.
oh, good. That's good for me to know.
So you guys are saying you all get the same thing?
I do.
Yeah, Helene's right. It looks like you basically confirms you clocked in at that time.
That's,
Okay.
that's,
What were you gonna say, Kirsten?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure this out. I know what that is. When that comes up, when you clock in and it says a previous time has been entered,
Mhm.
I don't know why it's done that way. All it means is that you've clocked in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all it means. It
It's
just
poor
means
wording.
clocked in now. I know
Okay.
it confused me for a while and I kept looking at it and I even clocked out, clocked back in. It's going to say that every time. As soon as you clock in, it's going to say a previous clock in at 7:05, whatever time you clocked in. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification because I kept thinking
No.
okay, what am I doing wrong?
Exactly. I did
Okay.
too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I gotta go, so
Okay.
sorry.
Bye.
Bye, Kirsten.
Bye.
Kim, did you need something? Kim Kosmewski? We can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute. Kim, you're on mute. So I don't know if you needed.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm a little slow on that technology thing,
I'm sorry.
I get that too when I clock in, so, but it's
Okay.
kind of, because everyone said that.
Okay.
I had a question.
Sure.
A lot of times when the EVV, and I think it has something to do with Wi-Fi. Like I turn my Wi-Fi off my Wi-Fi is off most of the time. And sometimes I don't always remember to turn it on when I come into Marici. And so the EVV says I'm not there or I'm not within 2 miles, even though I'm sitting in somebody's apartment. So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of frustrating. Is anything being looked into about that? Or do I just need to try to remember to have my Wi-Fi on every time I come in? Any thoughts?
Yeah. And, as far as your GPS location, we can look at those, but I am pretty sure that it will update even though it looks like at first it's not in the correct location, it will update eventually. Since you are not on Wi-Fi, it just might take a little longer. So I don't think we're getting, I'll have to look at your notes, but I don't think we're getting notifications that you're, 5 miles away or anything like that.
Well, it hasn't happened for a while, but just every once in a while, it just seems to like say you need to be, or I'm not within 2 miles. And like I said, I've been sitting in apartments or standing outside doors, and it can be frustrating. So I just wondered, I wondered if anybody else was experiencing anything like that.
Yeah.
It sounds like some people have. So I know Isabella just said that she just refreshes it, and that usually helps.
Yeah, I should try that. Thanks.
So,
I raised my hand. What I have found is if you actually turn your Wi-Fi off, it immediately tells you exactly where you're at. The problem I have found, at least, is the lag time in between it being connected to your internet provider, out in the community, and then trying to access the Wi-Fi wherever you are, if you have that access. So if you just turn off your Wi-Fi, whether it's before you get there or right when you get there, it immediately finds you right away and you can clock in with no problems.
Okay. Thank you.
all right. Well, yeah, a lot of times resetting, your phone, or even just clearing out the app and then logging back in the app sometimes can help. So, some of those technical issues, I know it can be a little finicky because of the location. So just, trying all those different things usually does help. So, and if you haven't turned your phone off or back on in a while, sometimes that can affect things.
Sure. Okay.
So, the next slide shows a little bit about, or shows the actual clocking in, changing the clock in and clock out time. So where the circle is right here is that request modification, and changing those times, but always putting a reason if you need to change those times. So ideally, obviously, we would like everybody to clock in and clock out at the correct start and end times. We know it's not a perfect world, so if that happens, then just really try to make sure that you're entering those times correctly. So, any other questions about any of that? Times. All right, so on to goals and those notes, or those goals in the notes, and rating those goals. So I just wanted to share a little bit about how important it is to rate those goals correctly. So, we're really, being very conscious of those goals. I really don't like to see an NA. If it can be helped, I would rather not see an A. I would really like, to see an answer, of the rating. So if you need to know what those ratings are, there's that blue at the bottom of the screen. You can see what it says. It says, what do the ratings / scoring for the goals mean? And just, bring that up. And you can always look at that. Patrick. Were you raising your hand, Patrick?
Yes, I am. There are some goals on mine with Jordan that don't apply to what we do. So like there's stuff like he's cooking in the house. Well, we're not cooking that day, or I can't remember the others, but I think there's 2 on there that I don't normally work with him on. And now I have worked with cooking with him, but
sure. And that can happen. I mean, if you are a coach that primarily takes someone out in the community and there are home goals on there, another coach is working on that goal with them most likely. So you can put NA in that instance, but then put in the note why it's an NA. So, you went out in the community with that person that day or whatever. So just make sure, that there's that explanation. It's not just NA, So we're trying to be accurate, and this is kind of the reason we're trying to be accurate. These are the goal ratings and the reports that we get from your goal ratings. So these are the quarterly summary reports, and those are the graphs, that kind of show how often that person is, meeting those goals and, or not meeting those goals. So you can kind of see, the one over here will do standing exercises for at least 30 minutes a day. So 7 times, that goal was completed as written. So they spent 30 minutes doing the standing exercises. So you really need to make sure that that's completely accurate. So he didn't report, that person didn't report that they did the 30 minutes. They actually did the 30 minutes with you. And, just making sure that that's accurate there. And then, increase coping skills in order to reduce stress. So, you can kind of see that one, they're all over the place. So the one, is refusal. And the one thing with the goals rating, I don't want you guys to think about those as negatives. So, we just need accurate information. So don't think of it, we all know that we, dearly care for the people we support, and we never want to, say all the, say bad things about them, but, it's just a fact, right? So, I mean, if someone has a goal of needing to, of making their bed every day, and they don't choose not to make their bed every day, that is their right. They don't need to, that's just what happens. It's a refusal. But, if that's the goal, but it's, it's not that big of a deal, right? So you just want to make sure that you are accurately reporting on each of those goals. So we have accurate information to take to those quarterly meetings and come up with possibly new goals. If these goals are not accurate and not what that person needs, then the team leader and the support team needs to come up with different rules or goals. So, just making sure that that you really understand what those ratings mean and those are accurate. Any questions or comments about that? Tina just commented and said that she tells her people it's a question, not a judgment. So I think a lot of times that's also in the way that it's presented, right? So, if you're kind of, asking someone about, their day and what they're doing, it's like, well, did you, make your bed today? And you say it like that, then they're going to automatically feel on the defense. So you just say, if you just kind of talk about things, so what did you get done today? And, talking about those chores and goals in a more relaxed way can be helpful. So we want to make sure that, obviously we're following those goals, but not to the detriment of the person we're supporting. So we want to make sure that, we are, being respectful for them. So Ashley?
Oh, something went weird. Sorry. There we go. No, what I was going to say too is what I found with not only working with people that I support, but also people on my team, because I'm one of the team leaders, is, just reminding them that that's their goal. That's something that was important to them that they wanted to work on, that, so if you present it like, hey, you've got these 3 goals today, I'm here to support you. So how can we accomplish this today? And you make it a really positive thing, then they're more excited about doing it. If you remind them like, hey, this is important to you, you've got this as a goal because, maybe, if you've got an exercise goal, this is a goal for you because you want to have a healthier, have healthier living, or, eat better or lose weight, or, reminding that. And it's like, and then just at the end of the session, really focusing on the positives of that. Like, hey, you worked really hard today, that I can really see that you're working towards your goal. That's just really affirming everything that they're doing. And so that seems to kind of help with some of that a little bit more.
Definitely agree. It's a lot of times it's just those small reminders, I mean, gosh, I know I need reminders all the time, well, you might probably shouldn't have that cookie today, because even though it looks really good, you have a goal of, whatever, being healthier. So, just reminding them of why they chose that goal in the first place, and, having those conversations, and just, reminding them of, where that came from. So Tina?
So I was going to kind of follow up on my statement. Where I come from with saying that is a lot of times, I'll ask somebody, somebody, I'll be like, hey, did you shower this morning? I'm like, hey, it's a question, not a judgment. I'm not going to be mad at you if you didn't shower. And then when they tell me, no, I didn't do what I had a goal of, or I didn't address it the way, like they think they're giving me the wrong answer because it's actually true and it's not the answer they think I want to hear. That's when I reaffirm, like, I appreciate your honesty. Even if it's not the answer you think I want to hear, I want you to tell me the truth. So that's where it's a question, not a judgment comes in. I need an answer so I can put it in your note. I don't really care what you actually did. I'm not going to hate you as a person because you didn't do X, Y, or Z today.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely don't want the people we support to be afraid of us, or, feel like they're disappointing us or anything like that. I mean, we're here to, support and motivate and figure out solutions to, help them be as successful as they can. So, I think that's always, the kind of trick that we need to, try to come up with different strategies, right? We're working on those strategies of how to motivate them to, be as successful as possible and do the things that they are, wanting to do, and reminding them. We have a guy that would like to live in the building next door, and he will make decisions a lot of times that aren't the best for him. And I just will say, so does that decision help you look like you're ready to move into an apartment by yourself? And he'll think about it and he'll be like, no. But when you put it in that perspective, then it makes him think, maybe I should, think about that. So if you're constantly, reminding the person that you're working with why they're doing these things, or why they shouldn't do these things, or why they should do the things that they've set out to do, then, that can be helpful to their growth. So, and then, the more you say it, it becomes their language. It becomes, part of their language and how they think. So there's a question on the goals. So the ratings of the goals. Number 1 is refusal. Number 2, this is terrible, but I might need to look that one up. But I know number 3 is physical support. So that person needed physical support in completing that task. Number 4 would be partial physical assistance. So maybe they started the task but did not complete the task. Number 5 is a verbal prompt is what it says, but it's basically any prompt. So did you need gestural, how many gestural prompts? I've had goals, that have had 20, they needed 20 prompts to do that task correctly. And that's okay. Number 6 is completed as written. So this person increased, use access their coping skills to reduce their stress. They didn't need any prompts. They actually, stopped and they started their breathing exercises, whatever it is, without, the coach saying, hey, you might want to just slow down a little bit, or even, a coach going like this. So, I'll have to look up what number 2 is. I'm sorry, but does that help? I hope.
2, I raised my hand. 2 is where they started the skill, but they didn't finish it.
2 is start. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So like if they have an exercise goal of 30 minutes and they are like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to exercise, and they get going and it's only been 10 minutes and they're like, nah, no, I'm done. They started the skill, but they didn't finish it.
Yeah. But you can always look those up on that little blue section. Like I said, in the back, in the previous slide, this section right here, what do the ratings mean? So you can always look there. It's at the top of every single note.
Yeah, it's at the top of like where the goals are. The very first goal, it's right up in the top right-hand corner of the very first goal. And then you have your list of goals.
Yeah. So just track, just rating those goals are so important. We use this information. Case managers look at this information. So this is what we submit to the state. So this is why it's so important. We need accurate information for that. Okay, so reading other coaches' notes. I'm not sure if everyone knows that you can do this, but it is possible. So in care, you on the left-hand side here, it says how to read other coaches' notes. So you go to the menu, go to reports, notes, and then client, date range, and run a report. You can look at notes from the last year. You can look at notes from the last 3 years. You can look at the last week. You could look at yesterday's note, whatever you would like. The reasons to read those notes would be for you as a coach to prepare for the session, to get more information about what happens with other coaches, and this increases the team communication. So one of the feedback that, that we received from the survey was increasing team communication, right? So we're trying to figure out ways to do that. One of the ways to do that is for you guys to read the notes from other coaches. They're there all the time. They will never go away. You will have access to them as long as you're working with that person. So this is, just a very simple way to have better communication with your team and with the team of people that work with that person. So, reading those notes, it's helpful in planning your session. So, really talking to the person about what, you're doing or what you want to do, that day. It provides an opportunity for conversation with the person you support about the other coaches and what they're doing with, that person. So you kind of have an idea of what they've done already. And, it helps with, what you would planning what you'd like to do. So it avoids repetition. That way George isn't going bowling, 5 days a week when he, has other interests, so just, avoiding doing the same thing over and over and over. And then you can share ideas with other coaches. So we really feel like this is a good way to feel connected with a team without taking a whole lot of time for everyone. We definitely want to increase our team meetings, but as you all know, everyone's busy. We really, it's a struggle sometimes to, get everybody together. So this is just a great way for people to feel more connected. So any thoughts there?
Yeah, just real quick on that, because I've shown other coaches how to do this. Two important things in finding those notes or how to get it to work for them is you've got to know what services the client gets. There's a drop down menu like rehab 20 or whatever.
Okay.
And then also, like, if you want to know what's happened this previous session, like I work with a client that doesn't like coaches talking to one another. Okay. But you can check, but you have to hit when you select approved and disapproved, because that also means just they haven't been approved yet notes. So you can see the previous notes who maybe haven't been, cleared by the team lead yet because they were just done.
Sure.
So those kind of things are important to know how to get immediate as far as, what's been happening.
Okay. Good point. All right. All good with reading notes and everything. Here's another quick video here. This is my favorite, probably tagline right now and has been for a long time is do with, not for. So, it's so important for us to make sure that we are, working with the person you're supporting and you're not doing things for them. This is not helpful for them. It's not helpful for their growth. Even though you think you're doing a good thing and it feels like you're doing a great thing, it's always not the best approach to coaching. So it's that, difference between caregiving and coaching, right? So, we're teaching that person to do these things so that they can live as successfully as they can without us. Because that's the ultimate goal is for them to live, as independently as possible and, not need us around for everything. So just a short video here.
Do with, not for. It means be with me. Sometimes I need help. If I need help, I am abstract artist. I used blue and green. Green is my favorite color. Blue reminds me of water. I love water. This reading is lots of texture. I love texture. I love trips. I use my imagination. I am free. I go. I work hard. I read almost every day. I keep learning. It's my reading. Do with, not for.
All right, so Open Future Learning is one of those resources that we use, and it's just a great resource oh, I'm sorry. That's the next video playing here, so I need to figure out how to stop that video.
You do not see the thoughts I am having, only my...
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so just a cute, good video about a man who, has, actually he's made a career out of painting. So if you ever have the desire, look him up on YouTube, and it's a great video about his mom has put out another video, and he's an artist and has really developed his craft. So it's a pretty cute, pretty nice story there. But I just love that, he had chosen that phrase. So the do with, not for. So, okay. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is time management. So we had a lot of feedback about that, about time management, and, some tips and tricks to managing your time while you're working with the person you support, not only for notes, most of this is centered around notes, but a lot of it for, the reasons why to plan, your sessions and get the most out of them. So a lot of times you only have 4 hours. That 4 hours can go by really quickly. So, just making sure that you're really spending that time in planning. But the biggest thing is, really talking about notes need to be completed during the session. So it's just so important for so many reasons. It is, first of all, it's one of those things where once you leave, you kind of forget what happened. It's just a lot easier to get it done during the session. We don't pay you outside of, the sessions to get your notes done. So we really want you to get paid, to do those notes. And we want you to complete those during your time, so that you're not spending extra time outside of work, doing those. So managing your time during the session to provide at least 15 minutes at the end, so important. Just really try to, plan that time. And it doesn't have to be right at the end of the session. You could write your note, an hour in, and, you'll have to add, to it, obviously, but, just really trying to spend time writing that note during downtimes and not, you know, cramming it all at the end of, you know, 5 minutes or whatever. So plan the session, including your note writing time and talking to the person about planning that time. So, you know, everybody that we support understands this. They all are aware of this. I go over this in every intake. I talk about it. I, you know, make sure that they understand that that's something that happens during the time that you're with them and that they need to plan for that. So everybody should be aware of that and should be, you know, should not be surprised when you're spending time, you know, on your phone doing that. So be realistic about how much you can get done in one session. So, you know, just be really careful when you do plan those sessions about just, you know, planning too much, right? So, you know, I hear a lot about, well, we just ran out of time, you know, and it's like, well, maybe you should have spent more time planning and, you know, maybe cutting down on what you can do. Now, I understand things happen and, you know, sometimes it is difficult, but really planning can solve a lot of those issues. So being realistic on that, on how long things take, definitely, you know, is important. So suggesting an independent task while you're completing the note. So a lot of times the people you support, you know, especially if it's somebody that you're like, you know, just is a real talker and they just really love to, you know, to talk the whole time, suggest or find or figure out something that they want to do on their own while you're writing your note. And if you need to physically sit in another place in their apartment or in, you know, wherever you are, then you can do that, you know, physically separate yourselves from each other and take that time, you know, to complete that note. So you could sit, you know, somebody could sit at the kitchen table and you're in the living room and you can still see them, but, you know, you're physically sitting away from them and maybe even have your back to them so that, you know, you can take that time to do your note so that you are not, you know, having difficulty with them in that space. Also explaining to them why this is important. So, you know, talking to the person about their note and really reviewing it with them. They should know their goals. They should know why we're there, what we're working on. And, you know, we should be talking to them and reviewing that note with them. They should be signing off on the note. So they should be, you know, there are some people that we support that do not do that, which is fine. And that's usually a team, you know, has discussed that. But for the most part, most of the people should know what they're working on and, you know what those goals are and, you know, be involved in that process. So, Isabella, you have your hand raised. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I don't know if like this is a big issue for everybody. I know like with me, sometimes I struggle with my time management for my note, and I've been actively trying to be better with that. But the one thing I do like is that you can save your note. So sometimes like I know if I'm going to be with a client for like a super long time, like I'll just go in there and kind of like type as I go throughout the day, like my note, and then just save it. And then that way, sometimes by the time it's the end of the session, like it's pretty much already written out and, you know, I can go over it with them. So that's something I've kind of done to help a little bit. But also I think just, making sure that you set aside like 10 minutes of your time, you know, towards the end of the session to type in, go over it with them is great too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. We definitely recommend starting that note. You know, there's downtime there, use that time to get your note done. So, you know, when you're at work, you know, you're supposed to be working. So, you know, use that time to work and use that time to fill that note out. So definitely be conscious of that the whole time that you're working with someone. Reviewing the notes with the person that you support, you know, you don't have to read it word for word. Just kind of going over, you know, hey, these are the things I put in the note. And if that person wants to read the note, then let them read the note. That is fine for them to read the note. So, Ashley.
I was going to say, Isabella touched on it, but something that I've done with my clients in the past, or I've suggested with coaches, is kind of what she said, where, if you're having a hard time with a client not, honoring time, where they're talking to you and you can't focus and do that, then carve out time at the end of your session for you guys to go over together. Hey, let's fill out your note. So you've got this goal. What did we do today? And type it together, have them, and that's just good in remembering what they did for the day and, understanding. And it may be, a communication thing, okay, we had this goal today. Did we exercise today? No. Why was it? Why didn't we exercise today? Or did we start that? Did we go for 30 minutes? No. Okay. And so just having them be a part of that collectively, you can carve out time and engage with them during that time, if that's possible for some people.
Yeah, absolutely. Using that time to review the session and plan for the next session. So you're saying, okay, we did this, and this, we talked about getting this done, but we didn't have time for it. So how about we do that next time? It's just a really good time to review that, to have those conversations, talk about what you learned that day. What did they learn that day? And you as a coach telling them, hey, thanks for, helping me through this, or, I really learned this from you, even, sharing those kind of things. What was your favorite part of the day? Asking them, the answer might surprise you. So it might be something very small that you would never even consider being significant. And it was significant to that person. So, just, having that conversation, asking them, what was the favorite part, or what part of the day, did need some improvement. And then sometimes that can, spiral into other conversations of, what can be done the next session or whatever. So Tina.
Something I've gotten into the habit recently of discussing with the people I support is I've got ADD. Like, I can't sit here and be in the same room with you and focus on my note. So can I just step away for a few minutes? Or I've got one who I'm literally like, get out of the car, I gotta work on your note. Like, it's become our joke. And I feel like it's kind of opening up my boundaries, but at the same time, giving them like a heads up that I'm trying to do my best, but this is the best I can do. I need your help. And sometimes putting that onus of I need your help to help me be successful with you. I've started to see a lot of like, oh, you need my help, then I'm going to help you. But I've started doing that with people, just like saying, I need like just a few minutes to step away and work on your note, has really kind of given them that, hey, maybe she does need quiet for this. So.
Sure. Yeah, that's exactly. That's planning. That's exactly what we mean. Ashley.
Yeah, I was just going to say too, a lot of times if you've worked with a client for a long time and you're like, well, it's just kind of weird changing up how we do things, I'll just deal with it. Sometimes, we just had this training, so bounce back, on that. Hey, we just had this training. We got a lot of really great suggestions and feedback. So we might be changing up some things. So I know we don't do this, or we've never done this before, but we'd like to try it. Do you want to sit down and do your note with me? And if not, then I need, some space for me to be able to do your note by myself, so just, putting that back on, changes or whatever. So then that way the client who may be stuck in a routine of, well, we've never done this before, this, that, and the other, it doesn't become a conflict. You can kind of prepare for that by discussing at the beginning of the session, hey, the last 15 minutes of our time, I know we usually do this, this, and this, but can we carve out some time? We just had this meeting, and just explaining that and planning for that can kind of help in building a new routine.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts? Okay. More note discussion. So note content. My biggest thing, if it's not documented, it wasn't done. So, I cannot back you up as a coach if you do not document that. So if, you know, a person you support and their family comes to me and they're like, you know, we've been having, you know, we had this coach for this long and they've never worked on this. And I go to the coach and I talk to them and they're like, oh, we do that every session. We say it's a conversation, say it's like, you know, social building skills or something like that. And they talk about this certain friend that this person's had, you know, an issue with. And the, you know, the coach is like, we talk about that every single session. And it's like, well, it's never been in a note, you know, then I have no idea. I cannot back you up. We have no clue that that's happened. We've had a few instances of, you know, somebody that is really difficult to keep on track. So like, you know, they are just kind of all over the place and they're complaining a lot and, you know, they're just really, it's really tough for them to stay focused. But the coach has written all their notes and they've never once mentioned that they have to try to encourage this person to stay, you know, on track with what they're doing. And that this has, you know, been really frustrating for them. But it's never been mentioned in a note. So we have no idea, you know, as a team, as team leaders, we have no clue, you know, what those things are. So, so these are just a few general points about notes that I'd like you to follow. So, you know, not what you did, but why you did it. So one of the first things is starting and ending your note with where you met and where you ended. So pretty simple, you know, always saying, you know, you started here and then you ended here. It's just kind of that protection kind of for you, you know, as far as, you know, making sure that you are noting that. How did you decide what to do that day? So did you need to prompt that person and give a lot of suggestions and say, hey, let's do this, or what about this, or what about this? Or did they have a plan? Did you show up and they were like, hey, I know what I need to do today. We're going to do this, 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 and this. And you're like, well, that's a lot. So maybe, you know, let's just do this, this, and this, you know? So planning out that day, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not very good with the two things at once, and I got to chat and jog my memory. So anyway, but you know, figuring out how to noting that is very important. So because if we read that note and it says, well, George, you know, did this, this, and this. It's like, well, did the coach need to go do that? You know, I don't know. Did the coach need to go to Kroger and George just went along? You know, that's not what we're supposed to be doing, right? So we need to know that that was George's plan. Do not list all the places that you went without additional information. So we don't want to see that you went to Kroger and McDonald's and Goodwill and Target. We want to see, you know, first of all, how you decided to do all those things. Second of all, how did you support them at each of those locations? So, you know, and it doesn't have to be super detailed, but, you know, they needed to support using their debit card, or they, you know, did that independently. So we need more information. And then starting the sentence with the person's name, you know, it's a great way to just remember that, hey, this is their note, you know, you figuring out how to word that in their language. When there's a shift change, confirm that it was a shift change. So confirm that that other coach arrived. That's not assumed, guys. So like, we need to know that a second coach came in. So even though, you know, I can see that on the schedule, I have no idea if that person, you know, arrived on time, or if you had a discussion with that person. If you had a discussion, just put that in there, you know, just say that you briefly went over the day with the incoming coach. So things like that are important. And then conversations can be important to note. You know, if it's not noted, then it didn't happen. So just really making sure that you're noting, you know, those different conversations and, you know, and what was discussed. So, another reason that's really important, because the team leaders read the notes. So if a team leader reads, this person discussed their, I'm giving an example, their surgery, their upcoming surgery with every single coach for 2 weeks, that probably tells you that person is nervous. They're obviously thinking about it a lot. And so as a team leader, we can go to those coaches and say, hey, I'm noticing that this person is talking about this every single day. We might need to figure out why. We might need to help that person get a little bit more information. Maybe they just don't know enough about the surgery and they want to, they want more information, right? So just that's, kind of an example of why we as team leaders and admin really need to know, about different things like that. So, and just be my microphone, not my voice. I like that little meme too. It's, making sure that you are listening to the people you support. You are hearing what they're saying, and you're, really encouraging, them to speak up, right? So Ashley brought up in the chat here about contact sheets. Contact sheets can be really, really important and really helpful for us. So, if a parent or the person you support, they contact you outside of service time, okay? So they say, I don't know, anything, that meaningful. You want to do a contact sheet for that. That way we know when conversations are happening and when different things. So if the mom of George calls and she's like, hey, I really, need to cancel today's services. George isn't feeling that well. He has a fever. First of all, the first thing you should say is contact your team leader. Don't contact me. So that's the first thing you need to say, but you can say, of course, appreciate you letting me know. But you really need to let the team leader know, and then you need to go in to InCare and write a contact sheet, make sure that everyone knows, about that. There's a question here about how personal do we get in noted conversations? It depends. So these notes are they are confidential, but remember, everything that happens during these sessions needs to be reported. So you can be vague sometimes and share, just note that you had a very personal conversation with this person. They really opened up to you. If it's something concerning, obviously, then we need to share as a team. If it's not something that, will harm that person, then, you could possibly keep that private. I would say it kind of depends. So I don't have a great answer for you. If it's something, that you feel like you need to talk to a team leader about, talk to the team leader. It is, they're all protected through HIPAA. So, we can only share with the people that support that person, their information. So there are ways to do that. Ashley?
I was going to just make a suggestion, like how you said it with being vague. I think for me as a team leader, and I think a lot of us as team leaders, if you put in there, like, had a very personal conversation about this and this, you're going to know as a coach if any of the content from that is going to benefit them or hurt them in any way, shape, or form. So if it's something that you're like, oh, that was a little, just send the team leader an email and just say, hey, I mentioned in my note, I had a really personal conversation. It was kind of about this. I didn't know if I needed to go into detail. Like, if you have questions, just send us an email, because we can always send your note back and say, absolutely, can you please provide that in detail, or do a significant issue is other about it, so that way it'll show up on our quarterly reports and we can discuss it as a team during those meetings. So if while you're doing the note, you're not sure, or say you're doing the note with the person you support and they don't want it in there, definitely reach back out to us, and then we'll let you know, and we'll guide you in kind of going forward with that. But a lot of information, like Christy has reiterated, goes for the quarterly meetings and as the team to help, support the person that we're supporting, further. So if there's anything in there, and I have a client that I've worked with, and there's been some significant discussions that have happened. And some of them I have openly communicated with them and said, this is really serious. And I have to legally document this, and I'm not sure what's going to be done about it. Something might have to be filed for this, and I communicate that with the individual that I support, because they don't know, they're unaware. But I just reiterate, like, I really appreciate that you feel open enough to share that with me. So, make them feel comfortable, so that way they're not afraid that they can't be open and honest with you. But if you ever have questions, just reach out to us and we'll help guide you as coaches on how to do it.
Yeah. And explaining, like Ashley said, explaining to them, anything you tell me, I really, do need to talk to your team leader about. Not everything, but most things, they'll come out eventually. So just really talking to that person about, anything you tell me, I really do need to report. So before you have the conversation, maybe, telling them that, preparing them, but you also don't want to deter them from telling you either. So if it's something significant. Tina?
So what I have to say is either a question or an answer, depending on how you look at it. I was told previously with the contact sheets, those are like the inner team communications that are just still attached, so that so you all in the office can see them. Is that correct? So like if I need to use somebody's name, which you wouldn't generally do in a note, you would say their peer, but instead in the contact sheet, I could say, John Smith.
You can use peers' names in notes. If that person's with you, you can use that name in their note. If that person is, is with that person, and that person has approved for that person to be there, or that peer to be there, you can use their name in their note.
Well, what naming would you use then? Would you use like first name? Would you use their HIPAA name? Would you use initials?
First name.
First name, okay. Because previously I had heard not to use the peer's name. But then also, is it true that the contact sheet, like you could literally use all the names you need to, including your own?
Yeah, you can use, that's true. The contact sheet is more for, like, say, additional information. So like something happens with George and Walter, Walter had a seizure while on George's time, then Walter, there needs to be a contact sheet about Walter, and, so that his team leader knows that he had a seizure during somebody else's time. You weren't responsible for him, but it did happen. So yes, that needs to be a contact sheet. Deja.
I was gonna say I have to start getting ready for work tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
So contact sheets can be very important, especially if you have just somebody who's calling you a lot outside of service time, especially. So yeah. Joanne?
Just to mention the contact sheet with the parents, whenever there's a discussion between the two of you with a coach and a parent or a guardian, or they're wanting usually a scheduling question. It'd be important to put that in the contact sheets for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're dropping, George off at his house, and his mom comes out and says, hey, by the way, we're going on vacation tomorrow. You want to put that in a contact sheet so the team leader knows, and also remind them to call the team leader and let them know. So little things like that. Amanda.
I was just going to ask real quick. I've got a participant or a client who likes to text a lot.
Mm-hmm.
have to, I mean, you know who it is. Do I have to know every time she sends me a text message with a picture or something?
No.
Or just for the parents?
Significant.
Okay.
So you do not have to know every time you talk to a parent. I mean, obviously, if you're dropping off and, you have exchanges with parents all the time, but it's significant things.
Okay.
So concerning things, or not even concerning, but just things that you think probably somebody should know. So yeah, I mean, texting, so we don't encourage it outside of coaching time. There are certain people who, it's an issue and it can develop a true problem with. We've had a lot of those. There are some people pretty respectful. They're very playful, not a big deal. Don't worry about that. So it's very customized. It's just like services, it's person-centered. It's, there's no blanket rule for any of this, I mean, it just is, it's person-centered. So
okay.
Yeah. Joanne, did you need something else, or did you have your hand raised again?
No.
Okay.
Do I need to hit my lower hand? I will do that.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't know exactly how to do this. So anyway, okay. All good with notes? We're just gonna finish up with our in-care slides here. One more slide on in-care. Annual certifications, so important, right? So Donna Ryan manages them. She's the one you're going to get emails from when all of your certifications are due. The notifications are on your homepage and in care. So look at those, make sure you know those. You also should get emails and text about them. Please get your certifications in. We have the ability to lock you out of in-care if you do not have a certification in. One of the biggest things is insurance. If you do not have insurance, we are not going to let you work. If you got in an accident while you were with a person you supported, that's on us. We would, we have to have these certifications up to date. So Donna does an amazing job keeping track of everything, and we want to make her job as easy as possible, right? So we want to keep her as happy as she can. So just try to get those certifications in on time. So, and she takes emails. So just take a picture of it, send it through email, text it to her even. She'll take it any way she can get it. So Cindy.
So for the CPR, do we need to be in charge of that? Or are you doing CPR?
Good question. So CPR, we typically will schedule for you. I have Gloria coming out on February 24th, and she will be doing the next CPR class. There's like 10 of us that need, I'm included in that. So there's going to be a big group for the next group. The other thing that I found out from our quality review, which I guess would be the one recommendation we had, is that everybody didn't have their first aid certification. So Gloria is adding that to her CPR classes. Anybody who is not taking it in March or has another certification somewhere else, I will be adding first aid to you. So you'll need to take that as an online course at some point. So just be prepared for that, to hear from Donna or I very soon. So we'll be adding first aid certification to that. So yes, so I think it's February 24th, I'm pretty sure, is when she's coming the next time. And that's for the group of March people. So we do have a little bit of leeway with Appendix K on getting that done, but obviously we want to get that done as quick as possible for everybody. So time entries, super important. Make sure that you are choosing the accurate time entries. We're having a lot of people choosing weird things. And so we really try to keep track of those things, those time entries. We're doing a lot of data tracking right now for our board and for different grants and things like that. So we really want to make sure that those are accurate. We just did a non-billable tracking and discovered that about 10% of all of our coaching time is non-billable. So that includes trainings, client-specific trainings, travel time, coach meetings, all of those things. So we're just really trying to to track that stuff. So Be sure that the accurate client is chosen for each entry. So when you're entering those entries, please try to just pay attention, just really, double check that before you submit it. And then additional notes are required for travel time. So make sure that I have the location of where you're going when you're entering those travel times and mileage entries. Okay. Any questions? None? Joanne.
Just a note on identifying the client. If you're entering several time entries and you want it to go, then second, let's say the first one is for John Smith, then you enter another time entry and it's not for anybody. It's just a general, like a mileage time entry or a travel time entry, and you don't need a name there. You've got to take John Smith out of there, even though you're in a new time entry. It will stay there unless you change it or remove it.
Correct. Yes, those names do remain there. So make sure that's where that double checking comes in. Just really make sure that you check that. So I have some coaching ideas for you here, but I'm going to skip this this page because we're running out of time. But like I said, I will send these out, so you can have those links with the next thing here. So modes of communication. So communication was one of our biggest feedbacks that we got back from the survey. These are the forms of communication that we use. If you have additional ideas, let us know, but we really feel like we try to send out as much information as we can. We are going to increase our team meetings and make sure that, those client teams or those people we support, teams, that they are happening more often or as often as possible, even if they're, virtual or whatever. But we do understand the importance of those. It's just, it's just difficult to schedule. So just letting you know that we do realize, myself and the team leaders, that's something that everybody really appreciates and really, gets a lot from, are those, those team meetings and getting feedback and sharing, different strategies with those coaches. So, so we are going to increase those. Biggest, thing is email and checking it daily, or at least on the days that you work. Please, please, please check your email. We can help you set up notifications on your phone so that you know when an email comes through. Little things like that can help with, that communication. So email secure and trackable. So you can look at conversations, that were had, months ago. It's really good for team information. So, say, you have a client and he's just been a little feisty the last few days. So you start a team email and you say, hey, have you guys noticed this? And then, the coaches can kind of respond to that and say, yeah, I've had that, this kind of works. So you can do some of that communication via email. So it prevents everybody getting together and having a team meeting and, spending that time having discussions, but you can have those, kind of small discussions via email. Tips and tricks and, things like that are great to share with a team, via email. So team leaders are always good with email. They're all on there all the time. So, make sure that you're sharing that information with them. The weekly Wednesday update. So I'm going to actually have to change this because we decided today that they are now going to be coming out on Mondays. So, that was, Sister Jackie sent them out on Wednesdays. We have no idea where that came from, but we kind of feel like we're gonna start the week with, sending out that update and give you the information about the current week. So that will have all of the program information, of course, any other updates that we need to know. You should have received one today. If you did not receive one from Gracie, then please let her know. Her email is graciemulholland@villageofmarici.org. So you guys should have all received emails from her by now. But expect those on Mondays moving forward. One calls. So a lot of people do not answer one calls, and we, understand that you're not always able to at certain times. The one call will always leave a message. So if you like to hear the message, that's completely fine. Then you can, receive that via message, or if you'd like to receive a text message instead, then please text alert to 22300. This is for one calls, and this is usually last minute information. So, hey, yoga's canceled for today, because the instructor was whatever. So, usually it's something like that. Or, we have a last minute group getting together. Hey, we've got this, going on. So, come join us in the, multipurpose room or whatever. So, Patrick.
If we go for the text, will that stop calling?
Yep, we'll stop the calls. So, so usually it's, a lot quicker and better for everybody if you do it that way. The staff monthly newsletter. So that also will come from Gracie. A lot of fun things in that. That's specified just for coaches. So we really try to tailor that, for you guys. So we'll have, different ideas, different things going on for everybody. That will have, we have like different little contests going on. So we're trying to get more videos and photos of the people we support, and you guys, we'd like to see more about what you guys are doing with the people you support. So it's great to get a picture of the people we support and, doing whatever, but we really want to see what you guys are doing together. So sometimes I know that can be difficult to take pictures, but try and get creative on that. That would be really helpful. We use a lot of those for marketing, for thanking donors, for just, saying, hey, this is what Marici's about, right? So we're trying to share a little bit more about that. Quillo. So I know that Quillo has been difficult. We haven't been great about using it as far as Village of Marici information, but we are going to start using it. We're going to use this as a goal for 2022. A lot of different reasons. A lot of the feedback that we got from the surveys was that coaches wanted suggestions of what to do. They wanted more information about, how to have conversational skills, build those conversation skills with people, how to, build those social skills. And Quillo has a lot of great content. And we really feel like that's a great training, opportunity. It's a 1-minute video every single day. You don't have to watch, you wouldn't have to watch it every day. If you can build that routine, that's great. You could watch 20 in a row, sometime when you're sitting on a bus, I don't know. But it's just really, really good content. And a lot of times you will, you'll kind of think about, you'll get ideas of, different things to do. And you're welcome to share with the people we support. A lot of those videos you could share with them and say, hey, look what what would you think about this or whatever. So meetings, like I said, we're going to try to increase those. The whiteboard at Marici Village Apartments always has great information on it. So always has information about what's going on around here and, different things like that. So like I said, we want to bring people in, we want to get people connected. That's the goal. So in care. So communication through in care would be the notifications in the top right-hand corner. If you have notifications there, that means usually that you've had a note sent back to you. So just make sure that you are checking that and that you are, trying to stay on top of those notifications. Text messages, there are text messages, obviously through in care, you guys should all receive those. and messages in care, and then notices at the top of the login page. Currently, there is a notice at the top of the in-care page that has a survey on there. So we would love for you guys to fill out that survey, give them some feedback about what you like about in-care, what you don't like about in-care, what you'd like to see improved. So we, feel like it's a pretty good system and everything, but I know there are definitely things that could use improvement. So just using that avenue as a way to let them know. Okay. Training opportunities. So these are, we really do feel like I said, Quillo, these are resources for you guys. So we do pay for Quillo, we pay per person. So we would love for you guys to use it. I can get on there and see how many times you log in or what day you've logged in and things like that. So, so we really want to push for that in 2022 for everybody to really start watching those videos, sharing that information. Gracie signed all of you up, so you should all have an account. So you should be able to go to the App Store, download that app, and put your email in and sign up if you don't already have one. We don't have passwords, so please don't contact us about passwords for Quillo. That's up to you guys to keep track of. So Open Future Learning, those are those videos, a couple of those videos tonight that I've shown have been through Open Future Learning. It's a wonderful resource. It has thousands of videos. It's, great ideas for coaching. So again, that was kind of one of the feedback that we received. You guys would like more ideas. And these videos have great ideas. There are things called side-by-side modules, and those are designed for a coach and the person you support to work together. So you can watch those with the people you support and, and talk about different, different things. So if that person would like to build their social skills, then, there's probably a video about that. There's a video about, if a person wants to talk to their parent about dating, and ask, really talk to them about how they want to start dating, but they're nervous to talk to their parent, right? And they've talked to you about it for years, So, there's some videos about that. And there are really thousands of topics from experienced professionals, and they really have a forward thinking about, they're not your typical, they definitely don't have that caregiving, mentality. It's more the coaching. It's, definitely person-centered. A lot of their videos, are very, just, I guess, very forward thinking, so we really, really recommend that. I will sign you up. So if you want access to that, just let me know, email me and let me know, and I'll sign you up for those videos. So 2 a month or 2 hours, we will approve up to 2 hours per month, or yes, 2 hours per month. So we don't want you spending, 5 hours a week, watching Open Future Learning, but there are 2-minute videos, and then there are hour-long modules. So there's kind of, the spectrum there, but you can look at all of the different subjects and things that they have. So great resource there. Joanne, did you have your hand raised?
No, sorry.
I just didn't know. Just want to make sure. So as far as communication goes, just a little bit more about communication and when to contact who. And of course, myself, so I supervise all the coaches, ADP, pay rate, time off, reviews, recruiting, staff onboarding, client intakes, and quality assurance. So that's kind of all under me. Team leaders, contacting your team leaders, especially about schedules. Can't say it enough, guys. It's all the team leaders. They need to know all about the schedules. So putting your time into when to work, so important. They have all of the information about the person you support. They should have all the goals, questions, all of that. They should be the one, really talking to the families and going to those team meetings. Note review, they're the ones reading your notes. So they should, have all of that information. They should be doing those client specific trainings. Those are annual. So make sure, that you are receiving that. If you feel like you need an additional training, contact your team leader. That is absolutely fine. If you feel like you need to come in and read a file and you just need an update, you are welcome to these files at any point. So definitely don't hesitate to do that. And like I said, with quarterly meetings, we are going to start contacting everybody before and after quarterly meetings. So let me know if that's not happening, but that, really should. We're making that a goal for 2022. So Donna Ryan, she's our compliance officer. So she's really working on keeping everybody compliant and keeping everybody up to date. So make sure you contact her or respond to her, when she contacts you. Biggest thing. Lori Bonner is doing the overall schedule. So she's gone down to part-time with us. But she's still doing the overall schedule. So she's still watching, that schedule and making sure that everybody, as far as coaches are concerned, have the hours that they would like. And then the people we support, they have the hours that they would like. So just make sure that, you contact team leaders really about the schedule, but she's also, kind of working on that as well. And these are the team leaders. So team leaders and the people we support underneath them. So just make sure that you have the correct contact information. So hopefully InCare will be adding the managers to the top of the notes soon. We'll see if that happens, but that's the goal. That's my goal. So sorry, I'm hurrying up now because I am trying to get you guys out on time. I don't want to go too far over. So, and I do want to show my last video because it's a good one. We are obviously hiring. We're always hiring. We will always be hiring. So please tell your friends, your family, the people that you like, that we are hiring. And, if you want to get a bonus, if someone stays with us for 3 months, then you will get a $50 bonus. So just, make those recommendations. We, in the next couple years, we'll really be growing. So we will have up to 75 apartments coming up, in the next couple years. So just really thinking about that growth and, finding people that, that want to grow with us. So sent out a new PTO policy on Friday. It is very different from the previous PTO policy. So if you are full-time, please take a look at that PTO policy. Basically, same holidays are paid. The PTO structure is a little bit different. Used to be, we would just get, once you hit your full-time status, which is 60 days at 30 hours or more on an average per week, then you would hit full-time status and you would get 80 hours. Well, at this point we are doing, you get 3 hours, I think it is, every pay period. So you can use those hours ahead of time if you'd like. If you want to take a vacation in February and take all 80 hours, then you just owe us that 80 hours throughout the year. So you can't take any more PTO the rest of the year. And you have to stay with us. If you don't, then you have to pay it back. So that's, details, but take a look at that PTO policy if you are full-time. So new building construction should start very soon. Very exciting news. So we're very excited to get those apartments open. So are many of the people we support. So really hoping to get that construction started in 22 and open in 2023. So same with the Carmel project. That will be kind of on the same timeline. We're thinking that everybody will be leased for that Carmel project by September of 2023. So hopefully, those apartments will be done around that time. Just to let you know, the Carmel project, we will have 40 apartments there. There are already 76 people on the waiting list. So it is, big, big project, big need up there. And, we're definitely trying to get people, into housing. So COVID tests, please order COVID tests for yourselves, and they're free today if you go to that site, and for the people you support. So encourage the people you support to sign up and order them for their household, right? So try to get that done. 2022 dates, golf outing will be the 13th of June and bingo will be the 16th of September. So, so those are coming up. UND students, they're doing their field work, they're OT students. So they'll be doing their field work with us February 9th through April. We'll set them up to shadow a few coaches. There's 6 of them. So we'll have them shadow 6 coaches. And their goals are going to be coach productivity and planning, technology and notes. So those are kind of the three things that we've talked to them about. So one more thing with kind of announcements here. If you do not have a card, an ID card, please let us know, and Gracie can get you one of these. So these can be used to get in places for free or reduced costs. Movie theaters have been accepting them. So please try to use this card. If you do not come to the office very often, Gracie will mail those to you. So please email Gracie at graciemulholland@villageofmarici.org. So, all right. I am about 2 minutes away. I'm going to play the last video here. And this is a day in the life of Stephen. I think it's just a great video that kind of shares a person we support and their perspective. And, just gives, it's just a good video. So you guys might have seen it, but if not, enjoy.
Hi, Stephen, you ready to go?
How are you?
Good
to
thanks,
see you.
How are you?
Oh, I didn't know you.
I'm Stephen. She supports me.
Elsie, you're such an angel to be doing this work. You must be so patient. Well done anyway, yeah? I'll see you later, okay?
What's that about?
Well, some people seem to think there's something special about supporting people with disabilities just to do the same things that everyone else does.
Oh, how interesting. I really need some toilet rolls.
Should we go to the shop before we go to the cinema?
Yeah.
Hello, young man. You've been doing your shopping? Well done you. What have you got?
Toilet rolls.
Wow, you have bought your own toilet rolls. You must feel so proud of yourself. You are an inspiration. I am so inspired by you.
Is this for real?
I just think some people find it hard to understand that people with disabilities can do things independently.
For fuck's sake.
Well, really, I do not think that sort of language is appropriate.
Sorry?
I don't think it's appropriate for someone like you to use language like that. It's not appropriate.
Explain that one to me.
When you have a disability, especially a visually recognisable one like Down syndrome, I think sometimes people see you as an eternal child and they see you doing things like drinking alcohol, smoking, swearing, and they just get upset about it.
Well, that's fucking weird.
Hi guys, how are you?
Not good, thanks. 2 tickets to Born Again, please.
Born Again, that'll be £7.
Stephen's paying.
Oh, right. £7. Thank you. Here's your £3 change.
That's my money, my change.
Right, sorry. Okay, so that's £1, £2, and that's £3 change in total. Keep that safe, okay? Here's your 2 tickets. Oh, here's your tickets, okay? Well done. Enjoy the film.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, guys, did you manage to get your van into the disabled parking space?
I don't drive.
Don't you hate it when people use those spaces when they don't need them?
No, we walked.
Oh, look, there he is.
Stay. All right.
See you guys later.
Not coming? Yeah, let's go see the movie. What a day.
Bad day, honey?
There's some strange people out there. Cheers.
Cheers.
So I like to drink this?
Yeah, why not?
Cheers.
So that's just a video about, people we support are just like us. They want to be just, they want to do normal things. And, they a lot of times get treated very differently. So, I think part of our job is, helping people understand that they do not need to be treated differently, and that, they can do all of those things. So I just thought that was a cute ending for our training here. So I will send the PowerPoint with all of the video links and everything. And then if you want, access to the Open Future Learning, just let me know, and I can get you signed up for that. So thank you all for everything that you do. We appreciate you so much. And, really, we're thankful that each of you have decided to be a coach with us and support the people, that we support. So thank you very much. And looking forward to a good 2022. So any comments, questions, anything? I'll stay on for a few minutes. So if anybody wants to talk about anything, then I'll stick around and would be available for questions. So if not, then everyone have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Christy.
Thanks, Christy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like team leaders to stay on or no?
It's up to you. If you'd like to, that's fine. Let's see if there are any questions.
Okay.
Hey, Christy. I'll be
Yes.
going. Her Unified Track's coming up, so my GPS will be off because I'll pick her up at school and spend like an hour or so out there on a track.
That's totally fine. You just have to mark that in the EVV that's what you're doing.
And we should be back at the residence for check-in out type. What
Yeah.
I mean?
So that'll be fine.
We got our call-in meeting this week, so I'll learn all the parameters of training times and stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool video. Have a good one.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you.
Love Genevieve's sweatshirt. Adorable.
Yeah, they're talking about you. Again.
Hey, Christy.
Yeah.
So did you say that we can put in for a time entry, travel time?
Yes. So like traveling in between clients,
Yeah.
you can put a travel time entry.
So how do I do that then?
So you've never done that before?
I think I might have, but
Okay.
yeah, I wish I would have known, because I do that twice a week with,
Yeah. So you just, you put a time entry in, it's either under time entry, there's a travel time.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yep. And you just put who you're traveling to.
Okay. Gotcha. From who I'm traveling to?
From who to where you're going. So
Okay,
you're going to
where I'm
put,
going.
if you're going to, you know, Goog Rich, then you put her, you know, her name,
Okay.
not where you've
Gotcha.
been. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, that's just to be clear, it's just from one client to another is when that's acceptable. Okay, cool. All
Yep.
right.
Yep.
All right. Gotcha. Well, great meeting. Glad I could be a part of it.
Good. Glad that you were too. I'm gonna actually